As this blatant and corrupt power grab continues within our country, I know there have been a ton of people that are frustrated because it seems like the Democratic Party have been caught completely flat-footed in this moment. And we've talked about how we need an opposition party, a true opposition party, a group of people working together, a coalition that can provide sufficient pushback against this authoritarian takeover. I know I've been frustrated. I know many of you have been frustrated. Because it seems like in Washington, D.C., although we are seeing individual voices pop up here and there, it seems as far as a coherent group goes, we haven't seen much of anything. But with that being said, I think it's still important that we acknowledge that we do have strong voices in our corner. People like Maxwell Frost, Chris Murphy, AOC, Elizabeth Warren, just to name a few. And I think it's important that we highlight these figures because these might be the people who are going to lead the way in this fight against the Trump administration. We are often eager to criticize, but then we don't spend enough time giving the admiration and praise where it's due. And one of those voices that I do want to highlight is Jasmine Crockett. She is a fairly new Congress member, but she is a firebrand in her own right, and she is bringing the right amount of energy to meet this moment. Here she is taking apart Elon Musk in a subcommittee. If you do appreciate the work I do, please do remember to subscribe.
Things because I don't understand if you are trying to conduct audits and figure out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is. I don't know why you would go to some tech guy. In fact, it was only techies that were sitting there at inauguration. We didn't have auditors. I would welcome auditors to come in and do forensic audits. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday and he admitted that he was lying and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie. So let me tell you something.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It's time for
the
us
gentlelady's
to do
time
our
has
job
expired.
and rein in this rogue actor known
The gentlelady's
as
time has expired.
This is the type of energy we need right now. Jasmine Crockett is constantly going viral. Not that that is a measure of anything in particular, but it does show that this is what the people on the left are hungry for. This is the type of energy we need. This is the type of rhetoric we need. She brings the facts, always, and she pushes back against this authoritarian takeover every single day. And she was recently on with Ali Velshi, and they were discussing what the Democratic Party can actually do to fight back against the Trump administration. One of the things that she brought up was the idea of a daily briefing. We know that Trump and his cohort are out there every single day lying to the American people. And we, as people on the left or Democrats, we need to push back against that. We need somebody out there on a daily basis that is providing a counter narrative to all of the MAGA lies. So here they are talking about that, and then we will discuss.
When I think about resistance, though, I've had a lot of conversations. And one of the things that keeps coming up is how the former governor of this state was consistently doing daily briefings in the midst of COVID because we couldn't trust anything that Donald Trump was saying about the pandemic.
Right.
So everyone tuned in to really what almost was like the shadow president, the guy that was going to give us facts and not tell us to inject ourselves with bleach.
Right.
I think that we need to do something similar to that because all they're going to do, him and his new press secretary, is spew lies upon lies upon lies. We need to daily brief the American people. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are talking about, you know what, we just are looking forward to the midterms. We only need 3 more seats. I'm sure everybody's tired of getting emails, text messages, phone calls, trying to raise money. But the reality is that we have an opportunity right now. I know that a lot of people look at these seats that are available, which there's going to be a total of 3, and they say these are deep red seats. But here's the thing. We saw that in the state of Iowa, they swung a seat 27 points so that a Democrat could win. I say we have nothing to lose. We need to go out. We need to talk to those people that finally understand that the only mission that Donald Trump has is making sure that he can line his pockets, line Elon's pockets, and any other billionaire, all at our expense. It's not just going to be the people you dislike that are going to miss out on their Medicare, Medicaid, or their Social Security. Or down in the state of Florida, where 2 of these seats are, they are talking about getting rid of FEMA. It is time to wake up, and it doesn't mean that you're a Democrat if you vote Democratically.
And she's exactly right about that. We have to do better at providing a counter narrative to the Trump administration. What she was talking about is absolutely true. Trump was out there every day spewing a whole bunch of lies, shooting from the hip, talking about injecting bleach or disinfectant into your arms, and it was an absolute shit show. But there needs to be some counter programming. There needs to be sufficient pushback with this new Trump administration, because they are cranked up to 11. They are out there every single day adding to the web of lies that the MAGA base lived within. So if there is nobody out there on the other end providing factual basis for what is actually going on, then we are losing the information battle. They then go on to talk about what these daily briefings might look like.
We've talked about whether we should act more like a parliamentary system here, where the opposition's got a job to do every day, and you see them as often as you see a prime minister. What does that look like? Have you had this conversation with a lot of your colleagues about how this looks?
I've been trying to work through it because I think when we compare it to what was happening in COVID, it was just one subject.
Right.
And for us as Democrats, we like to have experts. We don't just want to talk in mouth, right? And so it's a matter of how do we know what's coming to make sure that we've got the right expert on hands. But I think that it would be great if at least maybe every Friday we have a different attorney general or the same one that talks about the status of the cases, right? I think that there's things that we can do. We can just maybe decide on what days we're going to have transportation, and maybe we can pull on Secretary Buttigieg to come through and say, this is the day that I will pick up and I will talk about what's happening at FAA.
I think this is an excellent, excellent idea. Now, I don't know what the logistics would look like. I don't know what the specifics would look like, whether it would be like specific members of Congress and their comms department working with these people, or if it would be with the Democratic Party pulling together a pool of talent to provide these daily press briefings. But we need to do something, and having a whole bunch of experts that we can pull from is an excellent idea. We have Pete Buttigieg one day, an attorney general the other day, whatever it may be, but we can speak from a factual basis. We can speak to what is actually going on, because as we know right now, Trump and the MAGA movement, they are flooding the zone. They are trying to overwhelm everybody. And right now, the Democratic Party is not doing enough to push back against that. So people are feeling overwhelmed. They are shutting down. So we need to give some clarity in all of this chaos. They then go on to talk about doing field hearings to educate people, talking one-on-one. This is going to be tedious and hard work, but it has to be done.
I think we also have to start having some field hearings. We've got to go into their territory. We've got to explain to people in rural America, the reason that you don't have hospitals is because of their policies. The reasons you're not going to have schools is because of their policies. The reason that you had access to more jobs, more health care, as well as the next level of farming was because Democrats were the ones that wanted to make sure that you could have broadband access. We've got to start having the conversations instead of just ceding the territory, because the reality is that right now they're trying to cut SNAP benefits. You know who uses more SNAP benefits than anybody else? It's rural America. It's not urban America. We have a story for every single person who's not a billionaire in this country, and it's time for us to tell it.
So
Again, 100% right here. They can go out and do field hearings with Congress, but it also comes down to the individual, people like me and you, who are talking to people in our community and trying to give them a set of factual information that they can make decisions off of. We know that our policies are broadly popular with the American people. And we also know that we have a huge messaging problem. We are trying to play catch up as far as the right-wing media ecosystem goes. And so we have to be putting in the work. We have to, not only on the individual level, but from Congress, from people like me and other content creators, we have to be putting in the work. We have to be giving people a counter narrative that they can hold on to, that they can believe in. There's a whole bunch of us who believe in the idea of America, who believe in the democratic values that this country was founded on, and the Trump and his administration are trying to pull that all away from the American people right now. So we have to come together and provide sufficient pushback against the authoritarian takeover. We cannot let these people just walk all over us. That is what they are trying to do. They are trying to beat us down. They are trying to make us withdraw. They are trying to traumatize us, for lack of a better word. So we have to come together. All of these different ideas, we need to put them into action. If that means working with local organizations or calling into the state house or the Congress people, whatever you need to do, we have to come together to push back. And I'll leave you with just this one last clip from Jasmine Crockett because, like I said, she is a firebrand in her own right. She is bringing the right energy, the right rhetoric, and here she is telling Elon Musk to come through.
You were involved in a hearing with Elon Musk about condoms, right? Do you remember this whole?
It wasn't with Elon. Elon, if you're watching, come through, boo, because you haven't shown up to the DOGE subcommittee yet.
Right, and you called him out at that subcommittee.
Yes.
But this became weird because Buddy Carter, your colleague from Georgia, started talking about how we were giving condoms to the Taliban, and then Donald Trump himself. Then it became about Gaza, but that would have to have been about 7,000 condoms per person. And then he said it was just Hamas, which none of it made sense. But it caused a lot of people to have to run around and follow the story and find out that we give condoms as part of USAID to prevent the spread of HIV to a place in Mozambique called Gaza province.
Correct.
This is the nonsense we have to deal with here.
It's not even just nonsense. It's just that they're idiots. I mean, these are the same guys, remember, as it relates to our nuclear stockpile, right? They're like, oh, wait a minute, we needed those guys?
Yeah.
Oh, can we get them back? Oh, we don't know how to. Like, I don't know how anyone in this country can look at this administration and feel some semblance of any type of confidence, right?
I think she's exactly right about that. It has been absolutely chaos since day one of this new Trump administration. They are trying to flood the zone with shit. This is a concerted effort from them to do so. And if there is nobody on the other side, if there is nobody like you or me providing sufficient pushback against these toxic narratives that are flooded into the zone with the MAGA movement, then we are going to lose people. So we have to come together and push back, and we have to build a narrative of America that people can buy into. That is something that I strive to do on this channel. We have to let people know why America is great, why these systems were set up in the way that they are, how they benefit the American people, because people want something to believe in, right? This country is a great country. Are we going through some struggles right now? Yes. But we have done a lot of great things. We put a lot of good things together. And for the most part, it benefits the American people. And we need to remind people of that and also be doing the work to make sure that we are pushing back against all of this crazy legislation that's going to be coming down the pike from this Trump administration. So I think it's important that we highlight these voices. Jasmine Crockett is doing an excellent job. She is confident. She seems fearless. She's bringing the right energy and rhetoric. She is doing an excellent job, her and a handful of others. But we also have to come together and build a coalition that can sufficiently push back against this authoritarian takeover. So I will leave it there for now. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. We have to build something here on the left that can adequately push back against the right-wing media ecosystem. So helping creators like me helps us do that. So if you do appreciate the work I do, please do remember to subscribe. If I'm not your cup of tea, go find another alternative media source that you do like. Subscribe to them. If you want to see just how crazy the Fox News interview was between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.